Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a game with over 100 cards, and 99% of those cards are bad. However, these bad cards still make it into players' Edison format decks every single day. Join me as I dive deep into the abyss of bad card design and put these unloved pieces of cardboard to the ultimate test. 3 duels against random strangers on the internet. At the end of each episode, we'll reveal each card's place on the cursed tech tier list, ranking them from almost competitive to downright unplayable trash. Will we stumble upon a broken combo, invent a new deck, or will we just go insane trying to win a duel using Frog the Jam? You will just have to wait and find out. This is Cursed Tech. Hello and welcome to the 10th episode of Cursed Tech. And this episode is going to be the season finale. But don't worry, there is going to be a season 2 of Cursed Tech. If you want to know all about that, wait till the end of the video. But for now, did any of you go to middle school dance and you were slow dancing with someone and then your PE teacher came up to you and said that you needed to make room for God? Did that happen to anyone? Well, I'm telling you, you need to make room for God right now because this video is about a God. No, not that God. Not that God either. Definitely not that. Okay, that's just a picture of Satan. That's just Satan. That's just a picture of Satan. Okay, exactly. That God. Obelisk the Tormentor. Now, like a lot of you out there, Obelisk was my favorite Egyptian god as a kid. I mean, he just looks the coolest. He's got the most attack. And if you don't believe me, I have evidence. I've got proof. Look at this not cringy video at all of me showing off my Obelisk Frog deck profile from 2012.
I'm going to be showing you my Obelisk Frogs deck profile. See? It's pretty awesome. Okay. So first off, we're going to start off with the Frog Engine. You got 2.
Just listen to that voice. Oh my god.
See? It's pretty awesome.
That video is hard to watch. That video is very hard to watch. Okay, but what I showed off in that profile is exactly the core concept of today's episode. The Immortal Obelisk. This is made using Hardened Armed Dragon and the Blue Boy himself. Let me explain. Obelisk the Tormentor does have some built-in protection. You see, it can't be targeted and its summon can't be responded to or negated. However, this leaves it extremely vulnerable to very popular cards in the format. Mirror Force, Torrential Tribute. You can't activate cards when you summon, you can't Torrential Obelisk. Sorry, you can't do that. And Black Rose Dragon. I mean, if it does not target and it destroys, you've just wasted all your resources on Obelisk, and yeah, you don't want to do that. And that is where Hardened Armed Dragon comes in. If this card is used for the tribute summon of a monster, that monster becomes immune to destruction effects. When combined with Obelisk, this Egyptian god becomes almost unkillable. And heavy emphasis on almost because, yeah, he could definitely be killed in some ways. But hold on, Obelisk still takes 3 monsters to get onto the field. How are we going to make this work? Here is the plan. In order to make an Immortal Obelisk, we need to easily special summon Hardened Armed from the hand. This requires a deck with a lot of high-level monsters. If only there was a deck that ran almost exclusively high-level monsters that also had an alternate win condition if we cannot get Obelisk onto the field. If only there was a deck. Behold my Edison format Obelisk the Tormentor deck profile. And as you can see, we are playing Obelisk Montage Mash. There's actually quite a lot of reasons to be doing this, and it works a lot better than you'd expect. I know I should probably be playing some frogs, but let me explain. Okay, so Hardened Armed. This card needs to discard a level 8 or higher monster to special summon it from the hand. And this deck already plays a ton of high-level monsters. If you draw this card, you can always get it onto the field. I mean, you then need to also draw Obelisk, but
Don't worry, it'll happen. Okay, so then the other idea is I've replaced some of the more consistency spell and trap card stopping cards with special summons. This deck is not trying to get hand advantage. We are trying to spit out our whole hand onto the field and then tribute summon an Immortal Obelisk. And if that doesn't get us there, we will lose. But it could. It might. Exodius. This card is just a free special summon that also happens to be a level 10 monster. You can use its effect to send a Dandelion if you enter the battle phase with it, but you're mainly just using it because it fulfills all the conditions this deck needs. It's high level, it can special summon itself, and you could make Montage Dragon huge with it. Next up, we're also playing the Cyber Dragons, the Gallus. All these cards, Battle Fader, everything just helps you get 3 monsters onto the field. Even Fortress can just be summoned as a free monster to get onto the field, especially if it's in the graveyard. This deck is really good at pivoting between the 2 game plans. I mean, you can summon a Montage Dragon and win, which is very easy to do in this deck. I mean, you basically play the exact same number of high-level monsters as you do with normal Montage, but you can also summon an Immortal Obelisk. And unless you were playing against fairies or blackwings, Immortal Obelisk is insane. The main cards in the format that stop Obelisk are DD Warrior Lady, which, to be honest, a lot of decks run and is a huge problem. If you see DD Warrior Lady, just use this card as a level 10 monster to discard with Montage, because it is going to be too easy for them to remove him. And next is Honest. Honest is a major problem. Although this guy's got 4,000 attack, Honest does not care. So if you're playing against fairies, Lightsworns, blackwings, they need to have 2 Kalutes, but not too hard for them to get to. Basically, the whole game plan is if you're playing against one of those decks, you don't need to rely on Obelisk, just use him as level 10 in order to spit out your Montage Dragon. You gotta love this deck. Look at this deck, Montage Obelisk, are you kidding me? Let's get into the duels. Alright, this first duel we are up against Frogs, and we are going second. Our opening hand looks pretty good. I mean, we didn't draw Obelisk, but maybe we'll get there in the future. They're just going to normal summon a Swap Frog, send a Treeborn Frog from their deck to the graveyard, bounce the Swap Frog, and end their turn. We are just going to kill them. They are dead. Montage Dragon is too good. Okay. I'll show some duels with Obelisk. Alright. I guess I'll show some Obelisk gameplay. This is an Obelisk deck. And oh boy, there he is, right on time, the Obelisk. My opponent is going first. They are just going to set a monster and pass the turn. We're going to normal summon this Witch of the Black Rose, draw a free card, an Exodius, and attack into their monster. It was a Raikou. That's no problem. They mill some cards, and we just pass the turn. They're going to set another monster and pass the turn to us. We're going to normal summon this Gear Frame, add a Force. Then we're going to summon this Fortress from our hand, go to the battle phase, attack, thinking it's a Raikou. No, it is just a Dandelion. We'll attack one of the tokens and then pass our turn. My opponent draws for turn, then they are going to set a back row and pass the turn to us. Okay, if this is torrential, we will get heavily punished, but I mean, there's only one thing to do in this deck, so you know what we're going to do. We're going to special summon this Hardened Arm Dragon by discarding the level 10 Exodius, and we wait. They don't do anything. You fool. It is time for the Immortal Obelisk, the Tormentor, and also Fortress coming back. We go to the battle phase, and they have Mirror Force. They're going to use Mirror Force. That does nothing to my Obelisk. That is all good with me. They kill the Fortress, but I mean, we've already won the game, kind of. Not really, but we summoned Obelisk, so that's pretty good. We pass the turn to our opponent. I beg with my opponent to not have Honest or DD Warrior Lady, and thankfully, they don't. So they're just gonna summon Debris Dragon. If this was not an Immortal Obelisk, he could just Black Rose nuke the field, but thankfully, this is an Immortal Obelisk. How is he gonna kill him? I don't know. He'll have to figure something out. He just creates a little wall and then passes the turn back to us. We draw for turn. It is a useless Tragodia. We attack over his Ancient Fairy, and then we just pass the turn. He draws for turn. He's then going to activate Pot of Avarice, and then he draws 2 cards off the top of his deck. He's then going to activate Foolish Burial to send another Dandelion, which will give him an even bigger wall. We draw a Montage Dragon. An interesting card, but not interesting quite yet. We're just going to attack a token, and then we pass the turn. He's going to set a back row. We draw for turn. We're going to normal summon this Dandelion, go to the battle phase, attack 2 tokens, and pass back. And see, in these situations, I mean, he's just staring at this Obelisk, and he just does not know what to do. He's going to summon Ryza, put our Dandelion on top of the deck. We draw the Dandelion, we attack over the Ryza, and then we set the Dandelion, and then we pass the turn again. And here we are, just passing back and forth, staring down the Immortal Obelisk. We're going to flip summon this Dandelion, normal summon the Hardened Armed Dragon, go to the battle phase and attack for 300. He has the Deep Prison. This will banish our Dandelion. Then we're going to attack for 1500 and 4000. Oh, why are you activating Trap Zone? I don't have any. Oh God. Oh no. He figured it out. He actually figured it out. The one way to stop the Obelisk is with a 4000 attack Gores token. They change their monsters to attack, and they can clear our Immortal Obelisk and get in some damage. And they also don't have any back rows, so they're just dead. They are just dead from a 6600 attack Montage Dragon. Wow. I mean, that was Immortal Obelisk gameplay. You cannot say that was not Immortal Obelisk gameplay. All right. Okay, so this next game, I mean, look at that hand. Montage Obelisk, Hardened Armed. You can't get a better hand in this deck. They're going to normal summon a Lone Fire. They are going to get out a Mystic Tomato from the deck, set one back row, and pass the turn. Okay, that back row needs to not be anything, because if it is not, we can summon the Immortal Obelisk, and I mean, what else are we going to do? We activate Gallus and mill an Obelisk off the top. I tell my opponent not to worry about it, but ironically, this might have set him off as to what I'm up to, but we'll see. So he gets burned for 2000 damage. That's not bad at all. We're then going to special summon this Exodius by returning that Obelisk to the deck. Then we can summon this Hardened Armed Dragon, discarding a level 10 Eltonin, and he has Bottomless. He just has Bottomless. Why does this card have to be 1500? Why? The game's over. I can't summon Immortal Obelisk. I lose this game. There's nothing else to see here. All right, let's get one more game in for you guys. This one, we are against Gladiator Beasts, and we are going first. Actually, no, we're going second. I don't know what I'm saying. My opponent's going to set a monster and set a back row and then pass the turn. We summon this Witch. We get to add a Fortress from our deck to our hand for free. Then we're going to summon Gallus, milling a card. We mill the Hardened Arm, which would be great if we had drawn that, but, you know, that's okay. And I don't know why, I just go to the battle phase and try to attack, and they have Deep Prison, so my Witch gets banished. That's all fine with me. We then pass the turn. They normal summon a Bestiari, go into that guy Xeris, pop our Gallus, attack us for 2400 damage, and then tag out into 2 Laquaris at 2100 attack each. Not too bad of a turn. They also have a back row. We draw, and I mean, we just pass right back. They are then going to summon a Rediari, and then they attack, but we have the Battle Fader. They then special summon Test Tiger and get the Murmello out of the deck in order to pop our Battle Fader, maybe fearing a Caius, but that is no problem for us because this Hardened Armed Dragon means... You guys know what I mean. Do I really need to say what it means? We are going to special summon the Hardened Armed Dragon from our hand. We're then going to special summon this Exodius from our hand by shuffling all monsters from our graveyard into the main deck. And then we're going to activate Gallus, the Star Beast, which mills another level 10 so we can burn them for 2000 damage. I wait here for a long time. They don't do anything. And here he comes, the 4000 attack Immortal Obelisk, immune to card destruction. We go into the battle phase and attack into his Marmillo, and he doesn't know. He doesn't know. The days of Obelisk being stopped by Mirror Force are over. This Obelisk is immortal, and that's very bad for you, my friend. I am very sorry. I don't think this deck, Gladiator Beast, has any out in their main deck. They don't play Gores. They don't play Honest. They don't play DD Warrior Lady. I mean, I don't know how they out this. I really don't know what they do. We pass the turn to them. and then they just admit defeat. But honestly, in the duel, they thought for so long. They thought for like a full 2 minutes. I think they were going through every single card in their main deck thinking about it. And yeah, that is the power of Immortal Obelisk against the right deck.
Okay, this has never happened before. Let me explain. When I make an episode of Cursed Tech, I normally have to play maybe 10, 20 duels with the deck to get anything usable. Those were the first 4 duels I played with the deck, and every single one of them was interesting and fun. And while this deck is slightly less consistent than the normal Montage Dragon deck, adding a second stupid boss monster is just so fitting. I mean, Obelisk can just be montage fodder if it needs to be, but if you don't draw the montage, maybe Obelisk will get you there. I remember playing this deck as a kid. I was using my Immortal Obelisk. My friend Pedro was on Inzectors, and I think I summoned it in maybe the second or third turn of the game. We proceeded to have an hour-long epic match where he was just walling up, trying to figure out a way to get around this Obelisk, and it was one of my favorite duels I've ever done in my life, and I will never forget it. And I think playing today with the deck made me have a very similar feeling. Your opponent has to get so creative, and you can just sit back and relax like Kaiba, just laughing while they struggle to try to out it. And therefore, there is only one place to put a god, and that is the powerful cardboard tier. While I wouldn't suggest bringing this deck to a YCS, if your locals is right, you could definitely terrorize some locals with this deck. Let's say your locals is filled with Glad Beasts. Well, yeah, this deck is going to be very good. But if your locals is filled with fairies, you're probably not going to terrorize any locals. And that concludes Season 1 of Cursed Tech. When I started this series, I told myself I was going to do 10 episodes, and here we are, the end of 10 episodes, and look at all the crazy decks, basically everything I said in the intro came true, which is very funny and I'm very proud of. I think when I posted the first episode, I had 88 subscribers, and now we're sitting at well over 1,000. I cannot thank you guys enough, and I loved all the nice comments and the community that sort of formed around this. I'm so humbled. I love dueling. I'm gonna keep making strange, crazy decks, and I'm just happy that there's a few people out there that like to witness the madness. Now for Season 2, things are going to be very similar. Maybe I'll finally buy a mic. We'll see. That's might come in the future. The biggest change is I've decided to introduce channel membership. The lowest tier is going to be $2 and it's completely optional, no pressure to join. The top comment I always get on all my videos is people wanting to see more duels. You know what? They want to see more gameplay with each of the decks. So for Season 2 of Cursed Tech, for each main channel video, there will be a members only extra match. This will be a live commentary, sort of in the style I used to do earlier on in the channel, and it'll be showing off the deck that I featured in the video a little bit more, and just a little bit more content. So if you're interested in that, feel free to join. If not, that is no problem at all. The normal Cursed Tech will be exactly the same. Oh yeah, you also get your name at the end. If you become a member, you'll be at the end. So yeah, and if you pay more, you get your name in a different font. So yeah. If you want to do that, then you can. So that's it. Season 1 of Cursed Tech over, and excited for Season 2. And don't worry, the videos in Season 2 will look nothing like this.
Obelisk Frogs deck profile.
See you guys next time. Oh yeah, look at my shirt. Tenacious D.